We started off as far as our operation and what we're doing, what we're hoping to achieve. We started off as just cow-calf back years ago, of course, growing tobacco and putting up hay. And then as I kind of got out of college and started getting into the farming operation myself, focused more on stocker cattle. Recent years, we've started expanding the cow herd, retaining some heifers. We've got into the AI part of it, so that's allowed us a little more flexibility in which heifers we can keep and introducing some new genetics. So now we're up to the point that we're running cow-calf on probably a little over 100 acres, and then we still keep one farm for the heifers and background them, try to breed them out. We've got another 50 acres or so that we keep for steer calves, still buy a few, but mainly homegrown stuff that we feed out, and background there as well. So as far as our goal for the operation, we're trying to just improve the genetics of the herd, advance a little bit on that, have some heifers that maybe are worthy of selling as some bred heifers, and obviously stuff to replace out of our herd. On the flip side of that, we still also focus a lot on the steer production and trying to get these steers to grow as efficiently as possible and put some weight on them and be able to send them to the feedlots. And we do a little bit of retail sales from our beef, so we're focusing a little bit on feeding some calves out all the way to slaughter. Something we've been trying to work on is improve the quality of heifers that's going into our cow herd, replace some of the older cows and some of the cows that just simply aren't producing as much. I've got some heifers back here behind me that won't make it. There'll be some of them that need to be culled out. My plan is, as these heifers mature, we'll pick out the ones that come from the best producing cows and also the ones that appeal to us aesthetically, and those will be the ones that we'll work into our herd, and maybe cull out some of those cows that are a little tougher to breed or a little bit lower producing as far as weaning weights go and that kind of thing. As far as selecting these heifers and getting them bred, I try to give them a couple opportunities at AI, and so normally first off I'll synchronize them and breed them one time, and then try to keep an eye on them 21 days later, and whatever comes back into heat, if I can catch them in a natural heat, I'll give them one more attempt at AI. And if they don't breed after twice with AI, I figure they're probably not cut out for this program, and I'll put them with a bull and normally put those up for sale. Let them belong to somebody else's herd. I try to keep the easier breeding heifers, but I think we're on the right track as far as getting some better bodied, better built heifers. These AI bulls give us a lot of options genetically, so I can look at a heifer, and if I know she's a small framed heifer, I can pick a bull that's a little larger framed to try to make a calf more desirable. Or if I've got one that's maybe I know she came out of a cow that's lower producing on milk, I can select me a higher producing bull if I plan on keeping heifers out of that cow. But so anyway, just broadens our options. Well, the main thing I look for when I'm looking for a replacement heifer and trying to decide which ones are going to stay, I want them to look the part, and so I look at them from a conformation standpoint, try to make sure that they've got a good set of feet and legs under them. I want something that'll stay in the herd for a while. I look for volume. Coming out of our herd, I have the advantage of being able to look at what kind of stock they came from. And what I found, some of our better producing cows I might not pick if they were in a judging contest, just basically, just totally on looks. So use a combination of both those things. We've got a little variety. We're mostly black and black-white faced cattle, but there's a little bit of variety in there, and the reason we've still got some of these brown looking cows and heifers is because they're producing for us, and so it's not all about specific color or whatever, but what looks good and what produces good is what we're trying to pick out. Well, from a health standpoint, we try to get to these heifers while they're still on the cow. Like to get them at around 4 months old, and go ahead and hit them with some dewormer, and give them a round of shots, blackleg of course, and we'll give them some respiratory vaccines, and try to build up that immunity early, and then won't mess with them till weaning time. We normally wean off about 7 months old, and so at the time that we pull them off the cow, we'll definitely hit them with another round of respiratory. We'll hit them with blackleg again, and then we'll get into some of the lepto and the Vibrio vaccines. Go ahead and get that in their system. We focus on the mineral program. One of the things I've learned with AI is what you're doing today is not as important as what you was doing 2 months ago. So we try to get that focus on getting the minerals in them that they need, get their feed right, all those vaccines in them, and that kind of stuff well before breeding time. And then at the time of synchronization breeding, I'll go ahead and hit them again with some Vibrio and lepto vaccine, just to kind of boost that immunity. We've really for several years run 2 calving seasons. So we'll try to have a spring-born crop, and we'll try to have a fall-born crop. And spring of the year, we'll normally start calving sometime in March, and calve those out. And then in the fall of the year, we'll try to calve our heifers in September. I like for them to calve early September if they will, and then the rest of the cow herd come in late September, early October. So try to breed my heifers about a month early, give them a little jump start on everything else. But for us, from a marketing standpoint, I like having calves come in twice a year. We normally have plenty of hay, plenty of ground for them to run on, so I don't worry about overwintering those calves on the cow as far as the fall-born stuff goes. So I feel like one of the most important things that we can do as cattle producers is keep records, because like they always say, you can't manage what you can't measure. So we need to know which calf came out of which cow. We need to know birth dates. We need to know weaning weights and weaning dates and all that kind of thing. I guess I'm kind of traditional on that because I keep paper records. You know, as far as records go, I think if you get into AI, you better be keeping records. It's just not going to work well for you if you don't. I like to be able to look at a calf's tag out in the pasture, and these yellow tags on these heifers are the ones I put in at birth, and I'll have the name of the bull or the bull's number on it. That way I know automatically whether they're a AI calf or whether they're out of the cleanup bull. I'll start it off with a letter. That's going to tell me the month of the year that they were born. The next digit will be the year. And then I'll follow that with the cow's tag number. So I want to be able to ride up on them out in the pasture field and know automatically how old that calf is, what bull it's out of, and what cow it's out of. We're here with the steers that we've got now. Some of these are purchased steers, and some of them are homegrown. So we bring them over here and put them on some grass, and try to get as much gain as we can off of grass, supplement them each day with a little bit of feed, just hand feed the steers, and try to get as many pounds on them as we can, as efficiently as we can. And then what we hope to do most of the time, and one of the reasons we're still buying a few calves, is we want to get load lots that are pretty even in size, so we can put them together and get them sold on a video sale. At least I like to go at least a half load, preferably a full load if we can. As far as the health program on our steers, we run them a lot the same way we do our replacement heifers and other animals. We make sure that they get their blackleg vaccine, try to keep them up to date on their deworming, get those respiratory vaccines in them, and other than that, one of the biggest battles we fight is pink eye, and especially this time of year. So try to get a pink eye vaccine in them. Don't always help 100%, but I figure a little bit's better than none. As far as feeding the cattle, our cow-calf part of it receive very little supplementation. They mainly just raised on grass and hay. We'll give them a little bit of feed along just to keep them where we can handle them a little bit better. We don't creep feed the calves, just something that we traditionally have not done and seem to do okay without the creep feed. Once we wean them off, whether they're heifers or steers, depending on where they're going here, they'll get a little bit of supplemental feed each day, and try to hand feed them daily. The biggest reason for that's if I'm hand feeding, I have to see the animals, and I can see which ones don't come in and keep a little closer check on the health that way. But also, you know, we don't want to invest too much feed in them, so we try to keep them growing mainly on the grass and the hay as best we can. I think that fits better once we throw them into the cow program, especially with the heifers. They're not used to high doses of feed each day. I went through AI school, I believe it was in October of 2012, went through a school in up next to Abingdon in Virginia that Select Sires was putting on, and my reason for going to AI school, I guess, is a little different than a lot of people. At the time I was there, I was raising about 120 head of stocker calves each year, and of course those were all steers, so there wasn't a lot of breeding to be done. We just had a small, Dad had his herd of cows over there, but I've always been intrigued by the process of artificial insemination. And then once I had the opportunity to go to school to learn the technique, I really wanted to use it, and had been wanting to get more into producing calves rather than just buying all the stockers anyway. So I saw that as a good opportunity to take some of the cattle that we had, get rid of the bull that we had, retain those heifers, start breeding AI, but wanting to be able to advance genetics quickly, use bulls that I'd never be able to use otherwise. A bull that I used this past fall in breeding some of our cows, I'm told that bull sold to the breeding stud for $40,000 as a 14-month-old bull. And I'm not going to probably have a bull like that on my place. Not going to make that kind of investment, but I was able to buy his semen for $18 a straw. So it makes it affordable, I think, in being able to do that, and the ability to change up. Right now we're breeding about 40 cows a year, cows and heifers and that kind of thing, and you know, I may use 6 or 7 different bulls, but in reality I've only got one bull on the place. So if I wasn't AI and I'd be locked into the bull that I have, I wouldn't be able to change up. You know, if I feel like I need to, I can reach in the tank and pull out a straw of Hereford semen or straw of Charolais semen, or I can go back Angus, just depending on the cow and what I'm wanting to accomplish with her. Scheduling's a big thing with AI, and I teach agriculture at high school, so you know, I kind of set mine up to match with my breaks from school and that kind of thing. I'll try to breed my heifers most of the time the end of November, and that works out to be Thanksgiving break, so it gives me a little time off that I can get synchronization and breeding done. And then I'll breed the cows, the cow herd for our fall calvers, normally after we get out for Christmas. So I'm normally looking the last week of December, between Christmas and New Year's, that I'll try to get my cows bred with AI. And then for my spring calvers, I'll breed them the end of May, first part of June normally. And I like to use the synchronization protocols, use a seeder, and in combination with some drugs there to bring all those cows in at the same time, do a timed AI. That way I can plan it out in advance, and I know what day and what time I'm going to be breeding which herd of cow. But as far as synchronization goes, I really like the fact that not only can I schedule my breeding say for a certain date, but I know those cows that don't get bred are going to be back in heat 3 weeks later. So I can mark on the calendar 21 days later, those cows are going to be coming back in. I can watch for them. I know which ones didn't get bred. And if I've turned this cleanup bull in, hopefully he'll get them that first time they come in heat. So even if I miss some of them with AI, I can still get a really tight calving season